The next thing that I'd love to talk to you about in my little series on how to cope with job search rejection is how important it is to just diversify your portfolio of risk. And I'm going to ask you to think of yourself like a banker, like the Wolf of Wall Street. And much like an investment banker, your job applications should be treated like assets in your portfolio, and what you want to do is have as many as you possibly can that are well qualified. I'm not talking about spray and pray CVs everywhere, but I'm talking about having a number of options on the bench, as it were, that you are considering, and you're running the processes for those roles at different stages. But what that does is it allows you to take the focus away from the outcome of just one job, and that makes the whole process a lot less emotional for you, which is really important. You're not invested in the outcome of one particular role because you've got enough other stuff on that really it doesn't matter. And I guess it's much like when you go into, to use my earlier analogy of online dating, you're less bothered about what the final outcome is. You are really just running a process, and then you might be running another one alongside it. You might be at the earlier stages with another. And so that what it means is that you're divvying up your energy between a number of things, and you're not so invested in just what happens with one particular role. And that allows you to really perform a lot better because you've released a lot of the energy that you would be just putting into one basket. I think it's really important to think like an investment banker. So put on your best Wolf of Wall Street when you're going through a job search process. And the reason I say that is that if you have got enough opportunities that you've qualified really well, I'm not talking about a job board online spraying and praying CV applications here. I'm talking about roles that you think you have a really good opportunity of getting hold of. Then what you are able to do is, as you diversify your risk out, you are also diversifying the emotional engagement and involvement across a number of opportunities. That means you're less wedded to the outcome. And what that allows you to do is put energy into the process, and then another process, and then another process as you're going through the ups and downs of an interview interview stage, and you are waiting for feedback. It doesn't matter so much because you've got another couple of things going on. So I'd really encourage you to have a number of different things that you're considering. Now, a little bit further down the track, let's move on to feedback. Now, you may not get a lot of feedback if you have applied online because the process will be automated, and that can be quite thankless and soulless. So I'd encourage you to really try and get as close to the hiring manager, or at the very least an in-house recruiter when you're applying for roles. That's particularly as a career relauncher, someone who's had a career gap, because sometimes your CV is just automatically screened out because you are not there to explain your gap. But when you go to ask for feedback, there's, just talking from an in-house recruiter, there's really a form to how to do that. And if you've done lots of interviews, you've bothered to get yourself in front of people, prepare, then they should really honour you by giving you feedback, even if you haven't been successful. And the way to do that, to avoid any kind of awkwardness, is to just drop an email to the in-house recruiter or the hiring manager direct and say, "Thank you so much for the opportunity to come in and interview. I understand at this stage that I have probably not been successful, or I have been unsuccessful. I would love to, over the phone, unpack for just a few minutes what I could have done differently in the interview, or what the reasons were for me not being accepted for the role." Then you're saying, I only want a couple of minutes of your time. You're detailing the reasons why you are asking for feedback. You are saying that you're not expecting anything else from them except feedback for the process that you have already been through. And then they are highly likely to give you the time if they are professional and value what you have done in the process. So do try that a couple of times and see how you get on. But really it's absolutely reasonable to expect that you'll get good constructive feedback if you have been in a face-to-face interview with hiring managers.